Proverbs 17:3. The crucible is for silver, and the furnace is for the gold, and the Lord tests hearts. 1 Peter 1:7. So that the test genuineness of your faith, more precious than gold, that precious, though it is tested by fire, may be found to result in praise and glory and honor at the revelation of Jesus Christ. 1 Peter 1:7. So that the tested genuineness of the faith, more precious than gold, that perishes, though it is tested by fire, may be found to result in praise and glory and honor at the revelation of Jesus Christ. 1 Kings 9:28. And they went to Ophir and brought from their gold 420 talents, and they brought it to King Solomon. Revelation 3:18. I counsel you to buy from me gold refined by fire, so that you may be rich, and white garments, so that you may clothe yourself, and the shame of your nakedness may not be seen, and slave to anoint your eyes, so that you may see. Deuteronomy 17:17. And he shall not acquire many wives for himself, lest his heart turn away, nor shall he acquire for himself excessive silver and gold. Zechariah 13:9. And I will put this third into the fire, and refine them as one refines silver, and test them as gold is tested. They will call upon my name, and I will answer them. I will say they are my people, and they will say the Lord is my God. Proverbs 8:19. My fruit is better than gold, even fine gold, and my yield than choice silver. Genesis 2:12. And the gold of the land is good, bdellium and onyx stones are there. 1 Kings 10:11. Moreover, the fleet of Hiram, which brought gold from Ophir, brought from Ophir a very great amount of almug, wood, and precious stones. Genesis 24:22. When the camels had finished drinking, the man took a gold ring weighing a half shekel, and 2 bracelets for her arms weighing 10 gold shekels. 1 Chronicles 29:4. 3,000 talents of gold of Ophir, and 7,000 talents of refined silver for overlaying the walls of the house. Psalms 19:10. More to be desired are they than gold, even much fine gold, sweeter also than honey, and dripping of the honeycomb. Ezekiel 28:4. By your wisdom and your understanding you have made wealth for yourself, and have gathered gold and silver into your treasuries. 1 Kings 10:10. Then she gave the king 120 talents of gold, and a very great quantity of spice and precious stone. Never again came such an abundance of spices as these that the queen of Sheba gave to King Solomon. Genesis 13:2. Now Abram was very rich in livestock, in silver and in gold. Psalm 72:15. Long may he live, and may gold of Sheba be given to him. May prayer be made for him continually, and blessing invoked for him all the day. Genesis 2:11-12. The name of the first is the Pishon. It is the one that flows around the whole land of Havilah, where there is gold, and the gold of that land is good. Bdellium and onyx stones are there. Genesis 24:35. The Lord has greatly blessed my master, and he has become great. He has given him flocks and herds, silver and gold, male servants and female servants, camels and donkeys. Jeremiah 10:9. Beaten silver is brought from Tarshish, and gold from Uphaz. They are the work of the craftsman and of the hands of goldsmith. Their clothing is violet and purple, and they are all the work of skilled men. Haggai 2:8. The silver is mine, and the gold is mine, and declares the Lord of hosts. Malachi 3:3. He will sit as a refiner and purifier of silver, and he will purify the sons of Levi, and refine them like gold and silver, and they will bring offerings in righteousness to the Lord. Genesis 2:11. The name of the first is the Pishon, and it is the one that flowed around the whole land of Havilah, where there is gold. Exodus 20:23. You shall not make gods of silver to be with me, nor shall you make for yourself gods of gold. Job 22:24. If you lay gold in the dust and gold of Ophir among the stones of the torrent bed. 2 Chronicles 3:6. He adorned the house with settings of precious stones. The gold was gold of Parvium. Proverbs 27:21. The crucible is for silver, and the furnace is for gold, and a man is tested by his praise. 1 Kings 10:21. All King Solomon's drinking vessels were of gold, and all the vessels of the house of the forest of Lebanon were of pure gold. None were of silver. Silver was not considered as anything in the days of Solomon. 1 Peter 3:3. Do not let your adorning be external, the braiding of hair and putting on of gold jewelry or the clothing you wear. Job 23:10. But he knows the way that I take when he has tried me, and I shall come out as gold. Acts 3:6. But Peter said, I have no silver and gold, but what I do have I give to you. In the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, rise up and walk. Psalms 119:127. Therefore I love your commandments above gold, above fine golds. Revelation 21:127. Then I saw a new heaven and new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth has passed away, and the sea was no more. And I saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a loud voice from the throne saying, Behold, the dwelling place of God is with man. He will dwell with them, and they will be his people. And God himself will be with them as their God. He will wipe away every tear from their eyes, and death shall be no more. Neither shall there be mourning, nor crying, nor pain any more. For the former things have passed away. And he who was seated on the throne said, Behold, I am making all things new. Also he said, Write this down, for these words are trustworthy and true. Psalms 45:9. Daughters of kings are among your ladies of honor, that at your right hand stands the queen in gold of Ophir. 1 Kings 22:48. Jehoshaphat made ships of Tarshish to go to Ophir for gold, but they did not go, for the ships were wrecked at Ezion-Geber. Proverbs 25:12. Like the gold ring or an ornament of gold is a wise reprover to the listening ear. Isaiah 2:7. The land is filled with silver and gold, and there is no end to their treasures. Their land is filled with horses, and there is no end to their chariots. 1 Kings 10:2. She came to Jerusalem with a very great retinue, with the camels bearing spices and very much gold and precious stones. And when she came to Solomon, she told him all that was on her mind. 1 Kings 10:14. Now the weight of gold that came to Solomon in 1 year was 666 talents of gold. Genesis 41:42. Genesis 41:42. Then Pharaoh took his signet ring from his hand and put it on Joseph's hand, and clothed him in the garments of fine linen, and put a gold chain about his neck. Exodus 35:5. Take from among you a contribution to the Lord. Whoever is of generous heart, let him bring the Lord contribution, gold, silver, and bronze. Zechariah 9:3. Tyre has built herself rampart and heaped up silver like dust, and fine gold like the mud of the streets. 1 Timothy 2:9. Likewise also that women should adorn themselves in respectable apparel, with modesty and self-control, not with braided hair and gold or pearls or costly attire. Proverbs 3:14. For the gain from her is better than gain from silver, and her profit better than gold. Revelation 21:18. The wall was built of jasper, while the city was pure gold like clear glass. Joshua 22:8. He said to them, Go back to your tents with much wealth and with very much livestock, with silver, gold, bronze, and iron, and with much clothing. Divide the spoil of your enemies with your brothers. 1 Peter 1:8. Though you have not seen him, you love him. Though you do not now see him, you believe in him and rejoice with joy that is inexpressible and filled with glory. 2 Chronicles 9:9. Then she gave the king 120 talents of gold, and a very great quantity of spices and precious stones. There were no spices such as those that the queen of Sheba gave to King Solomon. Exodus 3:22. But each woman shall ask of her neighbor and any woman who lives in her house for silver and gold, jewelry, and for clothing. You shall put them on your son and your daughters, so you shall plunder the Egyptians. Isaiah 13:12. I'll make people more rare than fine gold, and mankind than the gold of Ophir. 1 Chronicles 22:14. With the great pains I have provided for the house of the Lord 100,000 talents of gold, 1,000,000 talents of silver and bronze and iron beyond weighing, for there is so much of it, timber and stone too, and I have provided. To these you must add. Ezekiel 7:19. They cast their silver into the streets, and their gold is like unclean thing. Their silver and gold are not able to deliver them in the days of the wrath of the Lord. They cannot satisfy their hunger or fill their stomachs with it, for it was the stumbling block of the iniquity. Lamentation 4:1. How the gold has grown dim, how the pure gold is changed. The holy stones lie scattered at the head of every street. Ecclesiastes 2:8. I also gathered for myself silver and gold, and the treasure of kings and province. I got singers, both men and women, and many concubines, the delights of the sons of men. Proverbs 16:16. How much better to get wisdom than gold, to get understanding is to be chosen rather than silver. Exodus 35:22. So they came, both men and women. All who were of willing heart brought brooches and earrings and signets, rings and armlets, all sorts of gold objects, every man dedicating an offering of gold to the Lord. James 2:2. For if a man wearing a gold ring and fine clothing come into your assembly, and poor man in shabby clothing also comes in. Matthew 10:9. Acquire no gold or silver or copper for your belts. 1 Corinthians 3:12. Now if anyone builds on the foundation with gold, silver, and precious stones, wood, hay, straw. Isaiah 66. A multitude of camels shall cover you, the young camel of Midian and Ephah. All those from Sheba shall come, and they shall bring gold and frankincense, and shall bring good news, the praise of the Lord. 1 Kings 10:17. And he made 300 shields of beaten gold, 3 minas of gold went into each shield, and the king put them in the house of the forest of the Lebanon. Exodus 11:2. Speak now in the hearing of the people that they ask, and every man of his neighbor, and every woman of her neighbor, for silver and gold jewelry. 1 Kings 10:22. For the king had a fleet of ships of Tarshish at sea with the fleet of Hiram. Once every 3 years, the fleet of ships of Tarshish used to come bringing gold, silver, ivory, apes, and peacocks. 2 Chronicles 9:21. For the king's ship went to Tarshish with the servants of Hiram. Once every 3 years, the ship of Tarshish used to come bringing gold, silver, ivory, apes, and peacocks. Numbers 31:50. And we have brought the Lord's offering, what each man found, articles of gold, amulets and bracelets, signet rings, earrings, and beads, to make atonements for ourselves before the Lord. Psalms 21:3. For you meet him with rich blessings, you set a crown of fine gold upon his head. 1 Kings 7:49. The lampstands of pure gold, 5 on the south side and 5 on the north, before the inner sanctuary, the flowers, the lamps, and the tongues of gold. John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in him should not perish but have eternal life. Genesis 24:53. And the servants brought out jewelries of silver and of gold and garments and gave them to Rebekah. He also gave to her brother and to her mother costly ornaments. 1 Kings 6:20. The inner sanctuary was 20 cubits long, 20 cubits wide, and 20 cubits high, and he overlaid it with pure gold. He also overlaid an altar of cedar. 1 Chronicles 28:18. For the altar of incense made of refined gold, and its weight also his plan for the golden chariots of cherubim that spread their wings and covered the ark of the covenant of the Lord. Ezekiel 27:22. The traders of Sheba and Ramah trade with you. You exchange for your wares the best of all kinds of spices and all precious stones and gold. James 5:3. Your gold and silver have corroded, and their corrosions will be evidence against you and will eat your flesh like fire. You have laid up treasures in the last days. Psalms 45:13. Oh, glorious is the princess in her chamber with robes interwoven with gold. Daniel 2:38. And into whose hand he has given wherever they dwell, the children of man, the beasts of the field, and the birds of the heavens, making you rule over them all. You are the head of gold. Exodus 25:140. The Lord said to Moses, speak to the people of Israel, that they take from me a contribution. From every man whose heart moves him, you shall receive the contribution for me. And this is the contribution that you shall receive from them: gold, silver, and bronze, blue and purple and scarlet yarns, and fine 20 lines, goat's hair, and tinted ram skin, goat skin, and acacia wood. 2 Chronicles 1:15. And the king made silver and gold as common in Jerusalem as stone, and he made cedar as plentiful as the sycamore of the Shepler. Revelation 21:21. And the 12 gates were 12 pearls, each of the gates made of a single pearl, and the street of the city was pure gold like transparent glass. Isaiah 60:17. Instead of bronze I will bring gold, and instead of iron I will bring silver. Instead of wood, bronze. Instead of stones, iron. I will make your overseer peace, and your taskmasters righteousness. 1 Chronicles 22:16. Gold, silver, bronze, and iron, arise and work. The Lord be with you. 1 Kings 15:15. And he brought into the house of the Lord the sacred gifts of his father and his own sacred gifts, silver and gold and vessels. Deuteronomy 8:13. And when your herds and flocks multiply, and your silver and gold is multiplied, and all that you have is multiplied. Psalms 115:4. Their idols are silver and gold, the work of human hands. 1 Chronicles 29:7. They gave for the service of the house of God 5,000 talents and 10,000 drachms of gold, 10,000 talents of silver, 18,000 talents of bronze, and 100,000 talents of iron. Psalm 68:13. Though you may lie among the sheepfolds, the wings of the dove covered with silver, its pinions with shimmering gold. Jeremiah 4:30. And you, a desolate one, who do you mean that you dress in sackcloth, that you adorn yourself with ornament of gold, that you enlarge your eyes with paint? In vain you beautify yourself. Your lovers despise you, they seek your life. Job 28:6. Its stones are the place of sapphires, and it has a dust of gold. 1 Kings 7:15. The cups, snuffers, and basins, dishes for incense, and fire pans of pure gold, and sockets of gold for the doors of innermost part of the house, the most holy place, and for the doors of the nave of the temple. 1 Kings 6:30. The floor of the house he overlaid with gold in the inner and outer rooms. 1 Chronicles 29:2. So I have provided for the house of my God, so far as I was able, the gold for the things of gold, the silver for the things of silver, and the bronze for the things of bronze, the iron for the things of iron, and the wood for the things of wood, beside great quantities of onyx and stones for setting, antimony, colored stones, and all sorts of precious stones and marble. 1 Kings 10:18. The king also made a great ivory throne and overlaid it with the finest gold. 1 Kings 12:28. So the king took counsel and made 2 calves of gold. And he said to the people, you have gone up to Jerusalem long enough. Before your gold, behold your gods, O Israel, who brought you up out of the land of Egypt. 1 Kings 6:22. And he overlaid the whole house with gold until all the house was finished. Also the whole altar that belonged to the inner sanctuary he overlaid with gold. Revelation 4:4. Around the throne were 24 thrones, and seated on the thrones were 24 elders clothed in white garments, with golden crowns on their head. Exodus 28:6. And they shall make the ephod of gold, of blue and purple and scarlet yarns, and of fine twined linen and skillfully worked. 1 Chronicles 22. And David took the crown of their king from his head, and he found that it weighed a talent of gold, and in it was a precious stone. It was placed on David's head, and he brought out the spoil of the city, a very great amount. Revelation 14:14. Then I looked, and behold, a white cloud, and seated on the cloud on like a son of man, with a golden crown on his head, and sharp sickle in his head. Revelation 1:1. The revelation of Jesus Christ, which God gave him to show to his servants the kings that must soon take place. He made it known by sending his angels to his servant John. 1 Chronicles 18:7. And David took the shield of gold that were carried by the servants of Hadadezer, and brought them to Jerusalem. Joshua 6:19. But all silver and gold, and every vessel of bronze and iron, are holy to the Lord, and they shall go into the treasury of the Lord. 2 Chronicles 9:1. Now when the queen of Sheba heard of the fame of Solomon, she came to Jerusalem to test him with the hard questions, having a very great retinue and camels bearing spices, and very much gold and precious stones. And when she came to Solomon, she told him all that was on her mind.